Look, I hate to say it. I really hate to say it, but even though the Lions aren't mathematically out of the playoffs yet, we all know what's happening here. It's the classic, technically we're still alive situation. Like when someone says they're taking a break from a relationship, you're not taking a break, you got dumped. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here, and I'm depressed, but nonetheless, let's talk about the Detroit Lions and why this season feels like someone sat on your sandwich before handing it to you. First, let's talk about the division reality check. We're third in our division, not dead last, but not exactly strutting around like the kings of the NFC North either. The Lions are a good team, but they're not a great team, not this year at least, not with everything we've lost. Look, if you're a runner, you can't downgrade your shoes and your diet and downgrade your training and expect to achieve your personal best. That's not how life works, unless you're in a Disney movie and your dead grandma's spirit gives you something. The Lions, we've downgraded across the board, and no amount of grit or kneecap biting or Dan Campbell caffeine shakes can overcome it. First, let me say this. We've got to stop calling for Dan Campbell's head. Stop it. No pitchforks, no torches. Dan Campbell is not the problem. We've gotten spoiled. Last year, we looked like we were ascending to football Valhalla, and this year, it's not so much. This season, to me, is a write-off. And part of the reason we're here, bad draft luck. Or maybe because of the good years, we haven't really been able to draft high, and we really haven't been able to make the most out of the draft picks that we did get. It's the football equivalent of being stuck in middle management. Now, let's talk about the real reasons the Lions regressed. First, in my opinion, the Ben Johnson black hole. Let's be honest, losing Ben Johnson is the single biggest factor. The scheming, worse. Play calling, worse. Creativity, worse. Sex appeal, non-existent. Ben Johnson had special sauce like Chick-fil-A, but for football. And now we're spreading mayonnaise on everything and hoping it tastes the same. We're trying to fill the role, but none of the experiments have worked yet. And this season is basically just one big figure out how to plug the Ben Johnson-shaped hole. Second, losing Frank Ragnow, the silent disaster. The center doesn't get much love, and Frank Ragnow was massive for us. Combine him with Penei Sewell, and you had the nucleus of an elite offensive line, but now that nucleus looks like it's been exposed to radiation, and we desperately need a new center. Maybe a guard, maybe two, maybe a miracle, who knows. 3, the pass rush problem. Aiden Hutchinson is a monster, and I love the guy. But you know how it goes. NFL coaches adjust. They've studied him. They've contained him. Meanwhile, we still haven't found that other guy on the opposite end to balance out the attack. We get occasional sacks at crucial moments, but overall, it's been a little lackluster. The quarterbacks out there are reading novels in the pocket. Honestly, it's embarrassing. We're giving up 5, 6, 7-yard runs like they're complimentary mints at a restaurant. And those amazing defensive games that we all brag about, yeah, they were against teams with aspiring to be mediocre offenses. Let's just be honest about it. And this one, I think you're not going to like. Number 4, the Jared Goff truth bomb. Look, I love Jared Goff. He seems like a great dude. He's the kind of guy who'd help you move a couch or water your plants. But he has 2 major problems. The first, he does not throw a pretty football. The ball comes out wobbling like it just had 4 tequila shots. Wobbly balls are harder to catch, they're slower, more affected by the wind, and easier to swat down. Compare that to Stafford's perfect laser spirals. Those were surgical, sexy, aerodynamic bullets. St. Brown and Laporta have been saving his ass by catching some of these knuckleballs. And the second problem, he's not mobile. You know it, I know it, we all know it. A pocket passer is great if you have a pocket, which we don't. So Goff panics. Dirt balls it into the ground, throws it behind guys, donates the ball to the nearest defender. Listen, under perfect conditions, he's fine, but imperfect conditions, it's ugly. And let's talk about the schedule because it didn't lie. The numbers here aren't just bad vibes, they're math. Cold, brutal, Honolulu blue math. Here's the truth. We've beaten bad teams and we lost to good teams, and the deeper you look, the uglier it gets. Out of our wins this season, 5 of them came against teams ranked 20th or worse in total defense. 4 of them came against teams ranked 22nd or worse in scoring offense. Translation, we've been basically beating the NFL's clearance rack. Meanwhile, our losses, every team we've lost to has been ranked top 12 in either scoring offense or total defense. How are we doing against teams with a winning record? We're 0-5. Our average point differential against winning teams is negative 11.3 points per game. Yikes. And here's my favorite depressing stat. In games against top half defenses, Our offense scores 8.5 fewer points on average. In games against top half offenses, our defense allows 10.2 more points on average. So we're scoring less and giving up more. The double whammy in the football wedgie, the full Lions experience. I mean, it's kind of like one step above the same old Lions. Listen, our rivals, yeah, they've beaten good teams. Meanwhile, we're the team good teams look at and say, hey, we can get right this week. There haven't been many we were robbed games either. We can talk about the refs and all of that, but the fact that we lost by a score or two doesn't even really tell the full story. We were never close. We were playing our asses off to bring it within a score. Listen, the schedule doesn't lie. It's basically sitting us down, hand on our knee, saying, sweetie, it's time to move on. And here are the final nails in the coffin. Look, I don't want it to be over. You don't want it to be over, but it's over. Injuries are piling up. Laporta is out. We're down to backups and hoping for magic. 0 fourth down conversions on Thanksgiving? 0? Statistically, we should have had a few. With a healthy roster, we probably would have had a few, and that probably would have won the game. But we're just lower on the end of the Dan Campbell spectrum this year. That's it. So, what now? Draft picks, rebuild the O-line, get a real complimentary pass rusher, upgrade our corners, maybe get some new coaching talent, maybe sacrificing a goat under a blood moon. I do that anyway, so it's not really hanging on the schedule. But one thing's for sure, you've officially got your Sundays back. We should have sold the farm last year or the year before, in my opinion, gone all in, pulled a Rams, bought a Parsons or a Crosby, maybe the run, but that window is closed now. Now it's time for a hot bath. I don't think this is really a hot take. I'm just calling it like it is. We're just not as good as we were the previous years because we've downgraded across the board. And we just don't look that good. I know we've hung our hat on some of the games against bad teams where we've won and thought we were a power team, but it's just not going to happen this year. Hey, prove me wrong, Lions. I'd love it. Go to the Super Bowl and I will eat my words. Happily eat my words. Anyway, Peter Von Panda, out.